Dear teachers, welcome you all to the learning series of the learning curve. In this series, we will be talking about how to improve and enhance teaching and learning in the classroom in everyday classroom system. This webinar series is known as From the Classroom to Exam Room, Enhancing Classroom Teaching and Student Achievement. The major focus of this series is to improve classroom teaching and how we can improve the student achievement. From there, we start from the first lecture, cracking the code of unfolding an SLO or command word. In this particular session, we will be cracking the code, means we will be learning what is an SLO, how an SLO reach to a classroom teaching and learning, and how it will impact our teaching learning in the classroom. So let's begin. Today we will start session 1 with the comprehending an SLO. Try to explain you what is an SLO, how an SLO works, and how an SLO is developed. Let's begin. Now, if we talk about SLOs, it's a very common word in teaching and learning. Whenever we talk about SLOs, we understand something which is related to learning objectives, in which we student learn what to learn, how to learn, where it from we learning will be begin. These are the questions which normally an SLO address. So let's start with learning an SLO. Look, a picture. The picture says a very smooth happening in a class, whereas teacher asks student, why did you bring a letter to school? The student reply, because you see, you said we need to reach the high learning outcomes. It's a good job, but it is very relevant. Why? Why this is happening? Because in our school in teaching, the teacher and the student are not on the same page. So SLO, the first objective of writing an SLO, helps a teacher and a learner to get back to the same page, to get back to the same wavelength. So both of them are talking about the similar thing. So it is known as an SLO. An SLO is basically helps a teacher and a learner to get the learning process on a one page line. Now, normally in literature, we face SLOs with different names. Sometimes it's said to be specific and sometimes it's called student. An SLO is basically reflects a specific outcome for a student from a learning goal. So this will help in student that it tells the students what to learn. At the same time, it tells the teacher what to teach. So SLO helps a teacher and a learner both ways. Learner knows what to know and teachers know what to teach. So this should be an smart. Why not? This is the question. An SLO should be a smart SLO. Why? The term smart is itself has a bigger meaning and a bigger picture. But going for that, I would like to go for another little explanation which is very relevant. Whenever you think about learning, you think about how learning is processed. So in our systems, the learning phenomena can be divided into two categories. One, specific, and the other is general. There is only two phenomena to learning. Number one, we normally known as general to specific, in which a learner learn the things from general to specific. So things becomes easier, they go very general, and by the time they learn, they specified their window of learning to a specific objective. If we are talking about a water cycle, we begin with the theory with the phenomena of rain, and then we explain, and then we bring the things into conclude the evaporation, the vaporization, the cloud formation, and the condensation and the rain. So start with the general phenomena and brings up the scientific phenomena later on. The student learns through general to specific. This technique is basically used to cut down the information relevant to a learner. The second thing is specific to journal. It is basically more of a different strategy in which a specific outcome or experience being explained through a journal perspective. So the outcome is very clear from the start, but we involve journal experiences, observations, and drive a journal concept out of it, and then try to explain with this journal conceptions the specific one. So we go in the reverse order. So this is called specific to journal. So whenever we are teaching in the classroom, we go with the two phenomena, either journal to specific or specific to journal. Going ahead, if we learn what is in SMART SLO, as I say in the earlier slide, SLO is SMART. SLO is a SLO which has a specific outcome in its lines. It says the objective of a learning outcome. It gives you specific outcome which you required. Either a student learn to define, either a student need to explain, either in the end of the SLO student want to be discussed, or anything which you want at the end of the SLO. What should the student get out of it on the concept? It is called specific. Another thing which is very important is measurable. How this learning will be measured in future, how it will be counted, how it will be qualified in quantitative numbers or grades in the schools. So we can differentiate this by measuring how much will be measured from this learning outcome. So if you are saying if something is unified or something it's knowledge, that means the definition will be asked. If something is an explanation or comprehension level, that means the explanation, elaboration or discussion will come into the play. Or something which is marked as application or beyond, that means the question will be derived on everyday outcome or relation to the everyday. So how this will be measured should be mentioned at an SLO. Another important thing is the actionable. Always a word which is start with the action word. SLO always start with an action word. It gives you what to learn, how much to learn. So this action word drives what will you require at the end of the SLO. How relevant is this? It is basically connecting of subtopic and topic to the SLO. So whatever the SLO is, it will be reflecting a topic or a subtopic. So that relevancy is matter when we learn about an SLO. Time bound. It's a very important thing. You cannot give learning an appropriate time. You need to end it a given time frame. So what is a time frame to learn that particular outcome? It's a month, a week, a day or a period. That depends on the learning period. But whatever period is, whatever semester system is, whatever time will be mentioned right in the start to the students, so they learn that how much time they have get to complete that particular SLO. So this is called a SMART SLO. It should be specific, it should be smart or measurable, it should be attainable, and at the same time it should be relevant and time bound. So we go ahead for the next test. Now if we learn about SLOs and SMART SLO, here comes another view. And now we try to communicate that journal to specific and specific to journal with a small an activity. This activity help you to learn specific to journal or journal to specific. The activity called Kasauti, Bujho to Jane. It is basically a game in Urdu which normally we place, in which an object is being thought and it will be re-thought there by the audience through some questioning. So if you thought of object or a personality, the audience will guess it through some numbers of questions. So whenever they start questioning, they basically start with journal, and by the time they get answers, they become specific and go to the particular point. And guess the personality or the event is basically known as Kasauti or Bujo To Jane in Hindi or Urdu. But in English, it's a game through which we learn general to specific or specific to general. So let's try to play that game till I come back to the second session of the series. Thank you for listening.